This is the Note Closers Show, where you get the latest developments in distressed note investing and learn the secrets of how you can control millions of dollars worth of property for pennies on the dollar. Get educated and entertained by someone who has closed thousands of deals and lives to support you in achieving the same. Now, here's your host, CEO of We Close Notes, Scott Carson.
Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. This is Scott Carson joining you live here from Los Angeles for this episode of the Note Closers Show podcast. So, first off, hope everybody is doing well this Monday morning. Things are rock and roll a little bit earlier than normal here on the West Coast. We're still out here in lovely Southern California from attending the Distressed Mortgage Expo this past weekend. And I got to tell you, a big shout out to Marc and Mahir, Allan, put on a heck of an event. Roughly, I'd say about 250 people were there. It's kind of hard sometimes to tell exact head counts because you have people coming and going and a lot of people in the room. And then you also have a lot of people in vendors hanging out in the hallways, networking, for coffee at the watering hole, getting some libations as they're kind of networking. But really good event. I have to give them that. A lot of people comment along the way that, hey, it was great. Catch up a lot of people, not a pitch fest, which is huge. Some pretty good panels. My biggest takeaway from attending an event like the Distressed Mortgage Expo is just kind of the networking aspect of it. What's unique kind of about the DME, as we like to say, is this event, I would probably say 3/4 of the audience are either listening, like you guys do in the podcast, or they're past students. And for those that came up and said, greeted us and said, hey, how much they love the podcast, thank you so much for those that are said that. For those of you that are watching here on the Facebook Lives or watching on our video replays on Vimeo or YouTube, once again, thank you so much for the positive comments. But I think that's the biggest thing is just catching up with people, our extended note families, or some people like to say the Carsonites. It's always great to hang with everybody, see what everybody's up to. And what I really love, besides just hanging with everybody, and first of all, not running the event, run way too many events. It's nice just to sit back and kind of relax and participate and get thrown into the mix as needed. But just seeing the growth of everybody, seeing Wayne Snell on panels and how far he's come in a couple of years, and talking with Kimberly Banks Fawcett and catching up with her, and seeing Chase Thompson and visiting with him, and the Adams family, and it's just really great to be surrounded by good people. It makes life a whole lot easier. But really great to also catch some new faces, people that we've connected with here online through one or two other things, and getting to meet them in person and visit with them, and have a drink with them or a cup of coffee, or just kind of hang and shoot the breeze a little bit. It's always a really good thing. So if you weren't here in Orange County for the Distressed Mortgage Expo, they are coming to the East Coast. I think sometime in January is when Marc and Matt were telling me that their next one is in the works for every being. So probably New York, New Jersey. So look forward to that upcoming here in the next few months to see that. The next big event I think you guys will want to attend, if you haven't already gotten your tickets, is our upcoming Note Camp convention, which is 100% live and online and gives you the opportunity to network with everybody. So we've got an amazing lineup of speakers. That's set here for literally just in about 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, October 12th through the 15th online. You can get your tickets at notecamp.live. If you use the discount code podcast, all caps, you'll get a nice little discount on that as well. But anyway, besides the Distressed Mortgage Expo, one of the great things is listening to some of the speakers, and meeting with the vendors. We got a great chance to hang out with Shante Duffy and Kevin Cordell from Madison Management, who are servicers. If it's a little noisy in the background, I'm here literally down at LA Live. Basically, I'm here at the Courtyard Residence Inn, right across the street from the JW Marriott, right on the corner center, literally right across from where the Emmys were last night. So it's always kind of a hustle bustle area. You get a little bit of back noise. That's what it is. But anyway, it's always great to hang out with Joel Markovitz and his wife Donna, catching up with Cindy Gold, Marc Gold, just all our vendors that we use on a regular basis. For the most part, we're there, and it's nice just to be normal people visiting with them. So Marc did have me kind of go on a couple of the couple of the panels. I was on the Shark Tank at the end, which was kind of fun, along with being on the first panel and talking about the business. And then, of course, I gave an hour-long presentation on marketing in today's real estate business. And I'll go through some statistics that I shared with those that are there. I won't give you the full presentation, but I will go through some of the slides I thought were the most important. They really gave a lot of feedback that we heard a lot of great stuff from. But before I dive into that, why am I still here in LA? Am I just hanging out? Going to be, for the ME after parties that are probably still going here? No. I'm actually here for a very specific reason. For those that don't know, obviously we do a lot of marketing, and some of our best stuff that we take from what we learn comes from Digital Marketer. Digital Marketer is one of the largest, agencies out there that provides content and training on how to be better at your social media, your content and creation and things like that. And so Digital Marketer puts on 2 extremely large events each year. One in February, March each year is the Traffic and Conversion Summit that they have in San Diego that we've been attending the last 5 years. Good morning, minions. I see Nicole throwing some stuff up there. Thank you, Nicole. Appreciate that for throwing up there for the Nook Camp. But good morning, people. I see good morning, Matt. Good morning, Karina. Good to see you guys. Hope everything's doing well. But they put a big event, Traffic Conversion Summit by Digital Marketer in San Diego each year, and it keeps growing and growing. I think they had over 5,000 entrepreneurs there, social media, internet entrepreneurs there, which is always phenomenal, 100-plus vendors. So we always take 1 or 2 or 3 nuggets from that event and really implement them, and it's helped us take our business to different levels each year after we go there. Of course, I walk out of those events, that event, and always want to blow my business up and rebuild it because there's so many things I can see that can happen. It's the proverbial marketing onion. We can add layer and layer and layer on top of some stuff. It works out pretty well for us. But they've also, in the last 2 years, started a new conference called Content and Curation. That's a little bit smaller event, only 1,600 entrepreneurs here at the JW. But I'm really looking forward to be 3 days of great content speakers, plus there's a ton of vendors. And any time that we can plug into other people that are a lot more successful than us, that have their niche down and whatever they do as far as marketing or blogging or providing content or helping us collect and be more effective on our merchant sales and things like that, or our training, so it delivers easier to our students and clients out there, the better off we are. And so we're here. Came and drove up from Anaheim last night to get checked in here. It's always great. These events are put on and coordinated by Deanna Rogers. It's actually Digital Marketer owned by 3 guys, Perry Belcher, Ryan Dice, who's from Austin, Texas, and then another amazing gentleman by the name of Roland Frazier, who is a marketing genius. I've known Roland for quite a few years, learned a lot of my initial marketing, especially marketing, blogging, and a lot of stuff that we started off with years ago that kind of helped us stay ahead of the curve from Roland. And so I'm always excited to see what he's got to say, hear him speak, but they do a tremendous job at providing some great content that we can take and implement. So I'm here for the next couple of days, just to be a seat in the crowd, a butt in the seat, I guess you could say. We are always excited to hear. Steph is here with me as well, and so we'll attend some of the same ones, and then we'll also divide and conquer. She'll go her way on some things, and I'll go my way on some things. But it's always great to have such a great event. They had an opening cocktail party here last night, which is great, and hanging out with Deanna Rogers, and it's just, my gosh, Deanna's an amazing person. So, but anyway, we come to these things, and it's not a cheap ticket. We come, but we always get value out of it. It's always good to network. Yeah, we've met with some new people that aren't in the note business. They're not in the real estate investing community, but I can learn a nugget from just about everybody that's out there. So, good morning, Lauren. Good to see you. Glad to see you at Note Camp. Yeah, you missed the expos. It was a good thing. So, but I wanted to go into that. Couple of things this morning. Marc asked me to speak on marketing at the Distressed Expo this weekend, and I'm like, okay, great. And I'm thinking, what the hell am I going to talk about? And so I put together a presentation. We're not going to take a full long hour to go through it. What I want to do is hit up some of the points that a lot of people really love, because one of the things I always offer when I speak is, hey, if you like a copy of my slides, you're more than welcome to get copies of my slides. And so I pulled some statistics to help people understand kind of where they need to spend their focus. Yes, WCN is a 10,000 megawatt blaring out there of all the stuff that we do marketing-wise, whether it's this podcast or the Facebook Lives or emails or videos or gifts or whatever we put together. Not everybody's going to do that. I understand that, and you just embrace it. I didn't do all this initially. I started with one thing and one step at a time and doing it. And so that's one of the things that I share with people. It wasn't about what we are doing at WCN and here at the podcast. I focused on a lot of our students and other people that are doing phenomenal things in social media, and pick specific things that people focus on. Like I'll give you an example. I talked about how Bigger Pockets is a very effective way to network and raise capital. And I talked about what Wayne Snell's doing on there, and Adam Adams, and Bob Malecki, and Gail Greenberg, and what they're doing in connecting with other investors and using the keyword options to find funding partners, to find note buyers, to find people that they're raising capital from. And now they're just commenting and becoming experts, and which is great things. We shared with people about videos. Some of the people are doing amazing things on videos, like Chase Thompson and Adam and Wayne again as well. We talked about who people are using webinars and other things to also get the word out. So we focused on really some of the most effective things out there and the people that have the biggest bang for the buck. I made it about them. It wasn't about us. I mean, I could sit here and talk about us all day long, but most people, when they hear that, they're like, oh, I can't do that. I can't be Scott Carson. I can't be somebody else. And I get that, because it's kind of intimidating sometimes, the shadow that we throw. But what's important to keep in mind is we all have to start somewhere. And if you're going to be in business and real estate or marketing or whatever you're going to be doing for the long run, if you just stop, if you don't do what you're doing, what you need to be doing now, and you put off 2 more years, you're just that further behind the curveball, everybody. So if you can start doing something, we'll go from there. So, yep, Karina, look forward to seeing you. Yes, love Nuggets as well. We're really looking forward here. We'll be here today, Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll make the morning session, and then we'll jump on a plane and head back home because we've got some concert tickets to Wednesday night in Austin, Texas. And we'll share from that there as well. But literally, what I'd like to go through now is just some of the stats, some of the slides and the stats that I provided to kind of help you guys get rocking and rolling. So I'm going to pull these up here for you. All right, so if you're listening to the podcast here, you're not going to be able to catch some of the images. You can always go to vimeo.com/WeCloseNotes or our YouTube channel, youtube.com/WeCloseNotes, and you'll be able to catch the replay on this with the slides that we go through. So one of the things I always like to ask people is why they're here. We'll get to that later on. One thing I think I think a lot of people loved was this slide right here, the ugly truth. And what I mean by the ugly truth, a lot of people don't know the stats about contacting people and how important it is to follow up with everybody, okay? It's so important to follow up more than just one email or more than one just post, because most people aren't going to respond the first time around, okay? Most people are simply, okay? Most people are only going to respond after you hit them again and again and again, okay? 1 second here. I'm trying to pull up some stuff here. Whoops, we don't need that. Trying to make sure I can answer any questions you guys have as we get rocking and rolling here. Oh, come on. There we go. Okay, now we're rocking. So, yeah, we're good. Okay, now I can see your questions and comments there on a different screen here. So, if you take that you need to connect with 100 people, you need to communicate with people out there. You've got 100% of your database as well. The first time you send an email out, like a contact request or go meet with somebody in a meetup group, things like that, you're only going to have really 2 people or 2% of that crowd respond the first time you contact somebody. 2%. I know that's not the most exciting thing, but 2 is better than none, right, everybody? Oh, Shannon, you love the truth nugget. Thank you so much, darling. Now, the second time you make a contact or follow up with another email, you're only going to have 3% of the people respond to you. All right. What is sad is most people never get to that. Now, third email in a week or third contact in a meetup group, things like that, you'll start connecting with 5 people. 5% of people will respond and want to do something with you. Do the fourth contact, fourth email, you got 10 people. Now, the thing to keep in mind is that 80% of the people that you're going to connect with, or going to do something with you, are going to come after your 5th contact. 80%. Most people never make it past the first one. And this is why your follow-up, your email responses, sending another email every week, just the consistency of doing stuff on a regular basis is extremely important. And most people fall asleep at the wheel on that, okay? So this is why I say 48% of you, and I mean you, 40% of the people out there, once they send an email and get people to respond, almost half of people won't even follow up. I see this happen a lot of times, especially in real estate, where a lot of people will do postcards and mailers, and they'll send stuff out, and they'll get phone calls back from interested borrowers or interested homeowners, and they just won't even follow up with those people. That's just sad. You put all this work in initially to get things rock and rolling, and you just drop the ball, okay? Now, 25% of people out there, only 25% of people out there will actually send out a second round of contacts, whether it's a post, an email. Only 25%. 1 in 4 people will actually take it a second time, okay? 12% of you out there will send a third contact or email post, all right? Only 10% of people out there will send out 3 or more emails or posts. And you've heard the whole parental principle, where it's an 80-20 rule. 20% of the people make 80% of the profits. Well, in the note industry specifically, when it comes to this, I think it's 10% make 90% of the profits. Unfortunately, one of the things that we did see at the Distressed Mortgage Expo is see a lot of repeat faces. People asking the same questions over and over again. I'm looking for sources. I'm looking for capital. And they are just not doing a damn thing about it. They keep showing up and asking the same stupid questions when they're sitting there banging their head, when they need to be doing things differently. And that means reaching out to asset managers. That means connecting with IRA investors. You have to do different things about your business versus just sitting there and expecting people to show up to do business with you. Okay? So just kind of going through here. We're going to look at that. Any questions? Good morning, everybody. Great. Awesome. If you have questions, feel free to ask them here on your Facebook Live there. We'll be glad to try to get around to them as best we can. So that's one of the most disturbing statistics. I think people are like, oh, crap, yeah. And where do you fall in? If you're in that 50% of people that don't even respond, hey, you got to change what you're doing. And I think a lot of people fall into that, obviously. You got a 50-50 shot of doing something or not doing something, and that determines your success a ton of the time. I mean, anytime we've done a workshop, we've always tried to provide the contact list to everybody, list of those attendants so that we can encourage you to network with others. And literally less than 5% of people most of the time will send even an intro email. Hi, it was great meeting you at the note buying workshop or note camp. Less than 5% of people actually do something. And that's scary. Because what's that mean? It means a lot of people are wasting time, resources, and energy showing up to something, but they're not really serious about doing something. Okay? So we go through a lot of things about working. I mean, Kimberly, Wayne, Cody Cox, Jay Tannenbaum are doing great about networking and connecting with people in their markets. Okay? Recycling content's a very easy thing to do, just taking articles and blogs and sharing them to your database, your post. Adam Adams, I think, has become the king of that twice a day. Karen and Stacy Wall from Bike Homes do a tremendous job of that as well. And, of course, Chase Thompson does this on LinkedIn on a daily basis for his marketing stuff. Okay? Video. You all know how much I love video. All right? Some people, they're doing amazing things out there. Obviously, Cody Cox is doing a Friday stroll video every day. Adam's doing some stuff, especially from his roadshow as well. Dan Zatowski's doing a great job. Our big buddy, Big Dan, is doing some great videos and sharing what he's doing. He just needs to do it when there's a little bit more light and not when he's driving. Wayne Snell is famous for doing some videos during their roadshow, and the Puke House got a lot of credit at the show. And then, of course, Chase does a lot of video as well. We talked previously about Bigger Pockets and how people are doing great jobs connecting with people there. We also talked about webinars a little bit there, and that Matt, Allan, Mahir, Cynthia Faulkner from SDIRA TV is doing a great job. Kimberly Banks, Wayne Snell, and I guess Doug Svensson. out of Chicago is also using webinars on a regular basis. But email, obviously, as we talked about, is important because it gives you a really cheap alternative to doing a lot of direct mail. And for every dollar spent on email content, you're going to get a 4,400% ROI. So for every dollar you get, you should be getting $44 back on what you're paying. So what I want to dive into, though, is really the statistics that we shared with everybody at the event. Okay, let me pull this up here. Boom, boom, boom. This was one of the ones I think a lot of people got is who's actually on what and how's that break down? Is it women or men on a lot of things? And if you look at the different social media channels here on there, the percentage of use online adults with personal accounts with the following social media services. This tells you who's where and what they're doing, okay? This is as of 2016. I'm sorry, a couple years ago. But you see it, 50% of men are on Facebook, 56% of women are on Facebook. Google Plus was kind of the big surprise. Only about a quarter of the population have Google Plus profiles because it's not quite as interactive as Facebook or LinkedIn or things like that. But the important thing to keep in mind, and I forget about this a lot too, we fall down on the job on this, is your Google Plus is owned by Google. Anything you post on there, it's categorized by Google and can show up in just your search engine. So it's really great to help you be SEO optimized, really hit some stuff. And a great example is our friend Lori Davidson out of Georgia. She had a assistant come in, write a blog or two a couple of years ago, posted to Google Plus, and then really didn't do anything after like a week. Well, by and by goes by a year and a half, 2 years later, sure enough, did a search and that blog post popped it up with about 1,800 hits. And so I forget about this sometimes, but it's important to do. Twitter still does about 16, 17%. LinkedIn is at 14%. These are all usually going to be your professionals, and it goes down from there. So it's important to keep in mind on using these different platforms, okay? Now let's talk about where they're using this, whether it's mobile versus desktop. Where are they actually accessing this content? And for those of you that are listening or watching on Facebook, most of you are doing it via mobile device, 68% of you. Twitter, most of that's 86 is online. Instagram is almost 98, almost 100% watching completely online on their phones, okay? Now, the big kicker is that LinkedIn, though, is about 3/4 of that still in front of the database. I'm sorry, not their database, but their desktop, their computer. That's something to keep in mind. That's where they're accessing, they're uploading things, or they're typing blogs. It's easier to do that there versus on the mobile app, okay? Obviously, Pinterest over here, 92% is mobile. I kind of found that a little interesting, but it is. And then Tumblr is roughly almost 50% right across the board, 54 and 46. Okay, but this is why it's important when you're communicating or using a blog or doing an email blast that your content is mobile optimized, especially if you're using like a CRM tool like MailChimp, and things like that. Use it so that your stuff looks nice when people open it on their mobile device. Because whether you like it or not, your phone is now the new TV of the 21st century. Okay? So a lot of people like this slide. Is they getting like options like, oh, now I understand why people are spending a lot of time on their phone. But now let's go through two things here real fast for you. How often do people access these things? So 3/4 of Facebook users and half of Instagram users are on those two websites daily, okay? 76% of people use Facebook on a daily basis. When you combine it, whether it's weekly or less often, 92% of people at least are on Facebook using something. Most people are on there used to at least weekly. Instagram's 51% of it's on daily. So if you only were going to use two things with photos for your business to share the deals that you're doing, to share where you're at, to share the life of an investor, things that you're doing, be using Facebook and Instagram. And LinkedIn, while it's not as fast and not as socially, I guess you could say gratifying, it is still an effective vehicle to be sharing your business stuff. But the reason LinkedIn, I think, is a little bit less down here, it's much more professional. People don't log onto it as much to stalk what everybody else is doing. It's more of a professional network. So keep it professional. Keep it classy, everybody, all right? This is what got a lot of laughs out of people. Because I'm sure many of you have thought, man, so many people are wasting their lives away on their phones, on their social media. And this is a great slide. On average, the average individual is wasting, well, maybe not wasting, but spending 5 years of their life online. All right, especially on the social platforms with Facebook's a year, 7 months. The thing you've got to keep in mind here is when YouTube shows up here at a year and 10 months, almost 2 years of people's lives, they're spent watching videos or watching other things out there. That should be a huge nugget. And just alone in that stat, if you're not doing video and posting stuff on YouTube, which is the second largest search engine out there about your business or things like that, you're really missing out, okay? Twitter was only 18 days. Instagram is 8 months. They're spending 8 months looking at photos, okay? Snapchat is really kind of surprised. People are spending a year, 2 months on there. It's grown quite well over the last couple of years. I think obviously that's much more of a younger demographic. Yeah, I would say much more the 35 or less crowd, which necessarily isn't the right demographic that we look for with note investing or with raising capital. We're looking for the 35 to 65 category. That's why YouTube is so important. And I think Facebook, because you see such a big turnout on that. So a lot of people really love this slide here because they're like, oh, I can see, if anything, it adds to exactly what you need to be doing and spending your time at, okay? Or where you need to be putting your ad dollars in if you're going to be using stuff, whether it's Facebook ads or even YouTube ads to help share your content, okay? Moving on here, this was a slide that a lot of people loved as well because it talked about where should I be putting my content, my content marketing for business to business and what social media platforms. And like we said before, LinkedIn is one of the bigger ones that does it. 94% of people that are in the business side are using LinkedIn, all right? LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube remain the 4 larger social media platforms that people are using. Now, Google Plus has risen in the last couple of years because I think people are starting to realize the importance of using that and having Google catalog that, okay? What was funny is Pinterest has decreased, okay, by 8%. SlideShare is going up. SlideShare is owned by LinkedIn. We use SlideShare a lot of times just to catalog and upload our PowerPoint presentations so we can share those with people via email or social media stuff. So what I will actually do is I'll take the link from our SlideShare and I'll post this in the Facebook comments here for you guys to be able to use and download these slides if you want, okay? But this is where people are using and spending the most amount of time and sharing their content and having the most effect. Now, yes, we talk about the content spider where you can have 8 or 9 different spots to post your stuff. But you don't have to be that effective. Just doing and using things in the top 3 or 4 is going to get you a lot of traction, can help you grow your database, grow your tribe, raise capital, find deals, find buyers for your assets. But just doing something on a continuous basis, everybody, that's, I think, is the most important thing that a lot of people forget about, okay? They get overwhelmed. They're not the most technologically savvy at things, and they cop out. I can't do that. Well, yeah, whether you can or can't, you're correct. Just start doing something on a regular basis to make things happen. So if I haven't put you to sleep yet this morning, I haven't put you to sleep this morning, there's one thing that I think is really valuable for everybody to implement. Now, I got good at this stuff because I made it a daily priority in my business to do things. And I had the philosophy that if I could get one more person each day, one is greater than none, everybody. So many people wonder, well, what do I do and where do I begin? How do I start getting things rock and rolling and make it a daily habit? Well, one of the episodes we did, a year, 2 years ago, was something called the 30-30 Matrix. And this is a tool that I got actually from Roland Frazier years ago on the real estate side. And all it is a simple Excel spreadsheet. Down the left-hand column, you have the days of the month, 1 through 30, and what day that lands on. And across the top, you've got 30 different activities you can do in your note business. You're not going to do all these every day. Some of these you only do once a month, like attending a RIA meeting or going to a live event. Those are things you do once a day. But the more checks that you have on these, like you guys can send an email out once a week, that's 4. And a follow-up email, that's 4 more. That's 8 right there, okay? The biggest goal of this is at the end of your 30 days or your 31 days or 28 days of February, is that you want your checks here, the boxes you're checking off, to add up to at least 70 or more, preferably 100 or more, because that's where you're going to see the most amount of growth in your business is just doing things on a daily basis. And so we literally gave away this at the just a simple 1-page PDF that we gave away to everybody. And what's surprisingly, only about 30% of the room actually came up and got it, which doesn't surprise me for the most part, because really only 10% of people do something. This looks like it's too much work. But what is amazing is those people that are buying assets and making things happen, those are the people that came up and took advantage of this. And really a simple thing to set it up. I mean, if you look at the top here, Twitter post 3 times a day, calling asset managers, posting in a Facebook group, doing a simple postcard out to your IRA investors if you wanted to, send an email to your asset managers, jumping on posting an active rain blog, okay, or posting LinkedIn groups. These are all simple things you can do on a daily basis or weekly basis, at least making things happen. So if you wanted to get 100, you'd have to do 25 things a week. Well, that's 3.5 things a day. 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, 1 in the evening. And you can use Buffer or Hootsuite to automate this, to set this up so it rocks and rolls for you. Okay, everybody? So that's one of the things that we focused on. We really spent time going through this with everybody out here. The Distressed Mortgage Expo. I think a lot of people took it to heart. We did get a lot of compliments on our discussion. I'm usually pretty much straight to the point. I'm not going to blow any smoke up anybody's ass. I'd rather just give you some good quality content and share with you some great nuggets to help you really take your business to the next level. But it was good seeing Dawn and Greg Felt out there. And it was just great reselling a lot of people who are doing some things to make things happen. So if you got any questions, that would be the time to ask it here, everybody. So we get rocking and rolling here in the day. The lobby's starting to get a little bit louder as people coming down here for breakfast, get their morning cup of nectar from the gods so they can get rocking and rolling. And I need to head back up to the room here and get changed, get ready to rock and roll at the Content and Curation Summit taking place today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. So we do have some new episodes on, obviously. Just make sure you leave a review there on iTunes or Stitcher. If you're really enjoying an episode, that'd be great. As always, feel free to drop us an email at scott@weclosenotes.com with either your questions about what's going on in your business. If you have a deal you want somebody to look through, we're here to help everybody. We're here to help you take your business to the next level, close more deals, and make a whole lot more money, because it's definitely a great time to be a note investor, make some things happen. So appreciate the love, everybody. As always, go make something happen. If you really enjoy the podcast, share it. I'd love to see anybody post online that they're enjoying these things or sharing the podcast. It helps us get the word out, and not only does it help us take things to a new level, it always helps you guys, because hopefully you're learning by osmosis or taking the things that we share on here and applying them to your note business. So with that, everybody, I don't see a lot of questions. So you all have a great Monday or great day wherever you're listening to, and go out and make something happen. And we'll see you all at the top, everybody. Bye.